Hey students, welcome back. Today we will go further from where we left last time. Yes, we are indeed in convention industry, but this time I'll take you further into further details such as who are convention customers, and we will also talk about how do we market conventions. So marketing and conventions and profiling convention customers. Well, did I say profiling? Indeed, I said profiling. So what is profiling? So profiling is actually knowing your customer, who they are, what they prefer, what they like, how much they spend, and whatnot. So we'll come in details in the coming slides. Now, there are two main players in the convention business that when we talk about I'm talking about who are agents. I'm talking about who are specialists in liaising conventions. So you are actually convention specialists. So you may not be a business in the sense you may not be hotel, you may not be a convention center. Like, have a travel agents? Well, you could be part of it. Or it could be part of a travel agency or tour operators, right? Now, customers for us means customers who actually are wanting to have the conventions or meetings. And the suppliers are the hotels, the food and beverage, the audiovisuals, all those people who supply the requirements, fulfilling the requirements of the customers. Then where do we stand? As I explained to you, we are the middlemen. Now, in the business of convention business, so we're talking about customers or those who use convention facilities. Now, when you segment this up, that means you break it down into further parts. So we call it profiling of a customer. Similarly, we profile our convention customer. So that means customers who need meetings, customer who needs conferences, seminars, and conventions. Obviously, the requirements will be different. A meeting could be just for 4 people, and a conference could be maybe 200 people or maybe 500. And a seminar could go further, in convention maybe thousands, right? Now, in saying so, we have to further divide. So there are 2 categories in terms of customers. Number 1, the corporate sector. Let's first define what is corporate sector. Who are the customers from corporate sector? In saying so, who has a mobile? Well, I do have. I'm sure you have too. And if you have a mobile, which company is that from? Samsung, Motorola, Nokia, Carbon, whatever, even iPhone, whatever you may have. Okay. Now, if I talk about Samsung or even for iPhone, they have the representatives around everywhere in the world, right? So they have a huge infrastructure, isn't it? They have so many employees for them. Now, if they have to do the meeting for them, how would they do it? Or even in part of India, if they have to do the meeting, there are different states in India. And in further states, they have further subsections, right? How do they do that? So when we come to the type of the customers, comes to the corporate sector. When this mobile company, when they bring they want to have a meeting or a conference for their customer, for their own employees, they may have it. Or they want to train their employees, or they want to show customers something new. They want to launch a new product. So that's something that comes from the corporate sector. There's another one. It's professional and voluntary organizations. We'll come to both in detail in further slides though. But organizations like unions, associations, medical associations, or even voluntary organizations like Vision India, even Red Cross for that. Okay, so they also need to have a meetings, or need a place, a facility where they can meet together, discuss the agenda, move on, whatnot. So we'll come in detail further. Let's have a look. Now, as I was saying, for the corporate sector, we have companies, business houses, or organizations. I gave you example earlier. But why do they do that? They do because they want to do the sales and marketing strategies discussion. They want to see how do they want to move ahead in the market as compared to their competitors. Someone sitting in Finland, Nokia comes from Finland, someone sitting in Finland, how would they know what is happening in India unless they come and sit and do things, right? So this is where they have to come and they have to discuss what marketing strategies, what do we do so that we are doing more sales, do we give more discounts and whatnot. Or they plan to launch a new product. They say, let's bring up a new mobile phone. And now I really want to actually organize a press conference, bring all the media houses, maybe some celebrities, right? Or they want to have a training workshop for employees. Let's say they have employees in every state. They have, let's say, 20 employees, and we have, let's say, 29 states. So imagine in those states, out of this, let's say we take one, north of India, let's say. So we have around, even if you take 5-6 states, so we have 100 plus people to come and do the training or workshop. Or even for that, promotion campaigns or campaigns where your product launching is there, you promote your product. It could be that you are in any, what's it called, a trade show. You're actually putting your, you put your canopy over there, or you put your counter over there, and you really want to promote. Again, you need the place. Now, in saying so, the business customers really are looking forward to investment of money and time and the returns, right? We also have other organizations we do need very similar services, and these are national or international organizations which are doing voluntary work, or even professional organizations in India, Indian Medical Association, Indian History Congress, even Indian Tourism Congress for that matter, even Hospitality Congress for that matter. So what is happening here? These organizations are organizations which have, let's say, Indian Hospitality or Tourism Congress, they have lecturers and professors and students all over India. So they may have around 300 plus members. They want to actually have a meeting in a year. So if they want to have a meeting, they need a space where all 300 can come, right? Due to COVID-19 situation has just changed, that a lot of things are done virtually, and I have done a lot of virtual conferences and meetings. But having said that, as we're going back to normal, the world is moving back slowly with the hiccups. So things will get back. So in that case, imagine arranging so many things for those 200 to 500 people coming at one place at one point of time. So obviously a lot of coordination is required, isn't it? So further, we talk about professional and voluntary organizations. Now, when we talk about professional voluntary organizations, again, Rotary clubs, Students Club, AFA, I believe, Indian Army Wife Welfare Association. Now, there are some local organizations too, rural development, isn't it? All those organizations, what they do is these are the customers. So this is where we're doing. So far, we were profiling our customers, who our customers are, what is their background. Now, I'll give you one example. Let's say Students Club. Take an example. So Students Club from north of India, or they want to actually have a meeting. Now, because the age group is different, because they are in a particular section of the society, because they are in a particular area of India, they may have different requirements. Let's say north of India will have Students Club only. North of India will have different requirements to south of India, because obviously the food habits will change, maybe the timings will change, maybe the weather will change. So the requirements will be different, right? And similarly, if I take another example of a students club as compared to teachers associations, which is here. So Indian Hospitality Congress, let's say, or Indian Medical Association as compared to in the Hospitality Congress. So Medical Association will have doctors coming over here who will be doing, their talks or their requirements will be different. They may need a different equipment to what a tourism and hospitality may need. So, but for us, we have all of us as our clients. So let's move on from clients to suppliers. Now, who are the suppliers? Let's say our clients, we'll take for the example today that, Rotary or Students Club, they want some seminar to be done. Where can we do the seminar? How many students are coming? Can I accommodate in a 5-star hotel? Will they be able to afford 5-star hotel? Or I'll have to have a hostel or a hotel or a convention facility, right? What about the food and beverage? Conference room, meeting halls, audio visuals and communication systems, all these come under accommodation providers. That means they come under suppliers. Now, if that is the case, do you not think it's a whole complex system to be in place? Let's say this remote for this projector, if I don't have the remote, how am I going to project things further, right? So that means a person has to be responsible for doing these things. In this case, what happens is we have a qualified staff dedicated to that conferences. Okay. Now, it's important, fact I want to tell you here. These conferences, big conferences or conventions especially, when they happen in a city, it really makes a difference on the economy of the city, right? So when there's a bigger conference or convention happening, so you may have convention for international students coming from, let's say, 20 different countries, or there has a convention for maybe promoting any scientific products or even mobile phones or technology, whatever. When that's the case, then people who will be actually taking participation as a supplier will come and stay in your hotel somewhere. They will stay, they will have equipment, they will have their own people coming and joining you. So what's happening to the city? City is getting so many guests and customers. Restaurants will get more customers. Different places, local locations, they will get places, isn't it? So obviously it becomes a bigger responsibility. I still remember we had 2010, we had Olympics here, is it? And then recently there was Olympics in Japan, which got cancelled because of COVID-19, but Olympics did happen, right? So there were so many athletes which went over there, even though there was not much of the audience, right? Now, when any Olympics happen, so many people come. And similar is the case when there's a big convention happening. Okay, so that means whole city gets a lot of response and gets a lot of income or revenue. Now, second part is law and order, right? So law and order is also another aspect, a bigger aspect, which is required in terms of hosting convention. Now, we have tour operators and travel agencies. Obviously, these are people who give us special convention packages. What about their cargo? What about their luggage? What do they want to supply? Few things, some machinery and equipment, right? And who will clear the documentation, paperwork? So we also have meeting planners who will help us to organize and plan the meeting, executing them, and also convention consultants. And let's go back to the bigger ones, which is the convention centers itself. Now, if you look at and give it a thought, a convention center is a huge mega structure. Imagine you are hosting around 5,000 people or even 10,000 people in one place. It's a huge structure. And if that is within a city, you need a lot of money to invest into that, right? So they are private, they are government, and sometimes partnership between the both. Sometimes the hotels, they do have small meeting centers and maybe sometimes convention centers too if there's a bigger chain. Now, obviously, they are bigger places who can host a lot of people, and that is where we see that these convention centers are not just private but also part of the government. Yeah. Now, there are few considerations regarding the location of the convention center, because what happens is, where do we put these convention centers, and we have to see if everything that we are assuming or we wanted to have is available or it's functioning properly, and especially comes to the size. Because if I'm putting in more people than required, so I'm actually not giving them the best of experience. It may lead to accidents, it may lead to what's called a blockage of the ways, movement of the people. It may also have impact on cleaning and arrangement. It will have impact on overall, decor, overall atmosphere where this conference is happening or convention is happening. We need parking, support services. In such case, we have lighting, electricity, security. Then comes is, how close or far is it from the city? How can we reach there? The accessibility, transport. Is there anything for people to go out and have some good time after that? If the surrounding is nice and looking good, so people take a break, go out and come back. It is an opportunity for a city to actually, when they host a convention, it's an opportunity for a city to do the business. Right? Now, in terms of transport services, obviously, there are sometimes convention transportation specialists. So imagine when I was giving an example of Olympics, right? When there's an Olympics, people from so many countries come and a lot of buses are there, right? And imagine the same way if the convention is happening, people have to go from one place to another. There will be a lot of traffic jams. So we have to organize with the city civic bodies to make sure timings and whatnot, if there is any specialized transport to be arranged. Ticketing, marketing, flyers. When you talk about frequent flyers, they are different to normal flyer. That means if someone is joining this conference or a convention, so if they're joining your conventions, do they get extra points when they're flying so-and-so airlines? So you can contact them, hey, I'm buying 1,000 tickets from you. What is on offer? Well, now you have a stronger hand, right? You can go to a travel agency. Then comes, as I was saying, that you may have chartered buses or cars and whatnot. And then similarly, you can actually negotiate with travel agencies, even accommodation, transportation, entertainment. All such actions can be done based on how many, customers you have, how many people you are organizing for the conference or for the convention. Moving forward, we also have tourism department who actually gives you a permission, who actually allows you to do the conference in convention in the place or conference in the place, and who actually promote you, tell you, guide you through, or they develop policies which are conducive, or even sometimes they support you through funding. And that a bigger part of funding also comes through sponsors. Well, why should I sponsor? Well, sponsorship comes when some businesses, they want to promote their products and services. Yes, and imagine 10,000 people there in one place. They are focused on one thing, and then your product is being displayed over there. So people can see your product, and maybe it is displayed so many places, and the ad is coming. People know about your product. You may have some maybe session over there, and people can actually hands-on and involve and ask questions, and even pre-launch, you can do that, right? So you can also even sponsor lunch. Lunch is being sponsored by Nokia or Samsung, or for that matter, local tourism organization. Sightseeing tours, wineries. So all those are actually the sponsors who help us in the convention business. But how do we choose a destination? what is required in choosing a destination. So let's look at what exactly are the factors that influence in terms of decision on choosing a destination for meetings or conventions. So the most important thing is how close and far it is. Well, even if it is close and far, do we have the right transportation? Is it near to the motorway or highway or freeway? How far is it coming from the airport? Why does it matter? It does matter because if you are asking for 10,000 people or 5,000 people, even 500 people to come to one place, and you don't have the proper way of reaching over there, doesn't make sense, isn't it? And then comes, if they have to stay for 2 days, do they have enough accommodation in that particular area? And what about food and beverage? So do they have, right? I'm asking a European to come and stay over here. Let's say I take him to somewhere in the remote place, which is maybe 100 kilometers away from Delhi, and there are no food and beverage as per him. We give him all spicy food from India, and he will, in 2 days, he will run away. Not even 2 days, 1 day, he will not have anything to eat. So we need to cater for that too. Then comes conference facilities. That factor is very important. How many people are there as compared to what is the area and space? Do we have enough audiovisual equipment? That means we can do the presentation properly. If there's a winter, is there a summer, do we have air conditions and whatnot is required for the temperature controls? Now, there are some other decisions on the convention or the venue decision are the facilities in the business center. That means, you need internet, you need fax machine, you need printer, what all things you need, right? An important aspect nowadays is security. We need to be very, very making sure it's nice and secure and safe. No bad elements are present over there, or you need local security from police, okay, to make sure overall quality is maintained. Then comes, do we have meeting planners? Do we have convention consultants and professional event organizers to help us to make sure this destination is suitable for particular? So all those things needs to be into consideration before you make a decision to actually do a conference or a convention in a particular area. Well, in saying so, now we have realized that the requirements of the conference or the convention, we realize the customers, we realize the businesses. Fair enough, now we know the players, but we know the need in the market. We did not know yet how to actually reach out to those people, to suppliers as well as to the consumers. So what do? We actually market. That means marketing is nothing but educating your clients and customers. So like any other business, conventions are again a business and they need marketing too. So obviously to do the marketing, there are a few aspects like marketing research, profiling customers, product design, pricing strategies, promotions, advertisement, and hard selling, and then we'll go one by one. So first of all, what are the characteristics of marketing for convention? Well, if you look at it, convention is highly intangible because it's a service. People come, they do not own the hotel, they do not own anything over here. The chair, so what are they taking with them? The time, the service that we give them. So these products are not transferable. So they stay in a hotel room and then go. They don't own the hotel room, right? They stay only for that particular night. So it's called service. So that's why it's quite unpredictable whether nowadays COVID-19 or whatnot. Again, you provide your service for the facilities and conference center. At the same time, the consumption and production of the service is the simultaneous. I'll give you an example. So if you're going to a barista and you're asking for a coffee, by the time you're interacting with him, he's making coffee for you. So that experience is made at the same time, at the time that you are actually utilizing the experience. So this is the part in hospitality and tourism. The production and the consumption is at the same time. Obviously, let's say if I want to say I want this standard and that standard of mobile phone Nokia's so-and-so or Samsung so-and-so, you have a brand, and so you will see all the phones in the same standard and quality and size and design. Can you do this same thing for the meetings and conventions? No, you can't, because there's a human factor involved. If you ask me to say the same things again, maybe I won't be doing 100%, because it's not that I'm not a robot, right? Similarly, there's an uncertainty. And obviously the bigger factor is the price, okay? And then comes on profiling and customers. Obviously, it's very, very important to know what product are you selling to which customer. If you do not fulfill their requirements and needs, or if you don't listen to the requirements and these needs, so one mistake can cause a big loss and dissatisfied customer, having big losses in your businesses. Another good idea is to keep the history of the customer if they're the same customer. And that helps you to segment your market, maybe become more close to what the requirements are and help them over here in delivering the products what they require. And that's called opportunity scanning. I know this customer came last time and they're wanting to have extra space because they thought that they will have only 200 people, but they got 300. So fair enough. That means next time they need bigger hall. That's an opportunity for me. Another thing to do that is to, when you market, you actually do the familiarization tours. And that is that you bring them up to the destination, the place. It could be done virtually also. Now, another thing is, in terms of marketing, you look at how do you market. You do it online, you do flyers, you go networking, you can actually talk to them face to face, give them phone calls. But the important part is you must actually look at the current trends, what's going on in the market. You should know and be aware of your market. Who's doing what is the latest technology, what is the latest trend going on, how people are behaving, how others are doing, and what could be done other than that. You can go one step ahead. In saying all those things, it's very, very important that your staff is well trained. And obviously, you must make sure that the staff that you're training is also aware of what the requirements of your customers are. In saying so, what did we cover so far? First thing we did is we actually profiled our customer. That what are the customers or convention customers? They could go for meetings, they could go for seminars, they could go for conventions, who they are, where they come from. Do they come from corporate sector or do they come from volunteer organizations, right? And how did we market them? How did we speak to different segmentation? How do we reach out to them? What do we do in our training or our employees? Or how do we reach out? What different maybe social media marketing can we do, or what different ways that we can do marketing? So with this, I'll leave you with this topic, and I'm sure you really enjoyed this session, and I'll see you in some next session. Have a good day. Thank you.